Hey everyone, this time we read Myst and Riven by Mark Wolf. So this one was okay. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it was just kind of okay. Which, given the rest of the books in this series, is a pretty big step forward. Tempest was not very good, Silent Hill was pretty good, this one's okay. I did think it was a little weird that Mark only focused on the first two games. He talks about the entire series, but there's just more of a focus on Myst and Riven. It's a little weird. He could have just called it Myst and then covered the entire series the way that he did, but whoever came up with this series decided to go with Myst and Riven, so whatever. This is where I really got the feeling there might have been like a page limit, like the University of Michigan didn't want them to go over a certain number of pages, because this doesn't feel like they actually had enough time. It's much like the Silent Hill book, where I didn't feel like they spent as much time on the games as they should. Here, I definitely feel like that, because they could have gone like much more in depth than what they did. Mark wrote a good book, but I just feel like he should have gone more in depth on some of these. So this book starts off way better than the other two. It actually feels like you're reading something from Boss Fight Books, where you get more of a personal experience with the game as opposed to just starting off very academic. And this book kind of teeters between being kind of Mark's story and also being like more of an academic work. When he's talking about his own experiences with the game, the book gets really good. When he goes into like more of the academic and kind of analyzing the games, it's okay, but it's just not as good as it could be. I wish there had been more like actual reflection on the games, because that part seemed not really to be the focus. It does still feel like an academic paper. It's not bad, but it's not good. Like I said, it's just kind of okay. What I do like is that Mark goes into some of Cyan's earlier games before they got to Myst and also into Riven. So it feels pretty cool to read about those, since I didn't know too much about the company before Myst. And, you get to read some of those things and it feels like you're going on more of a journey than you were with the other books. There's just something about it that I like a lot more, aside from the fact that it's not as much of a textbook, that, you get more of the personal stuff. There's just something else there that I liked more about this. He also talks about how those earlier games influenced Myst in some ways. I can see what he's talking about, but I can also see how like other outside influences probably helped as well. The people at Cyan probably saw other adventure games like King's Quest and a lot of the like LucasArts games, and thought we can go in a little bit of a different direction. And that's kind of what Myst was. He does spend a lot of time talking about how this was graphically impressive for the time, and it definitely was. It was very different from the other games. Especially for someone like me, I didn't know a lot about the other adventure games, so seeing Myst and just hearing my friends rave about it, it made me want to try it. I found out it wasn't necessarily a game that I particularly liked, but it was still very impressive for the time, and it felt different from the other games at the time. I also want to add, there are some moments where Mark almost puts you in the game, where you can kind of see what's going on, and it just feels like he's it feels like he's a better writer, or he had more freedom in what he was writing than the other two books that were written, and it just kind of feels like he tried to connect more with the reader than the other books did. So while I like this one much better than Tempest and Silent Hill, and in all honesty it is way better than Tempest, it still feels a little bit like an academic paper, and it still feels a little bit like a textbook. Not as much as the other two, but it still kind of feels that way. So anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a great day, everybody.